What's going on, everybody? Technical difficulties, but that's neither here nor there. Hope y'all are doing extremely well here for sure. I wanna start off real quickly with a um, a statement, so to speak, if you all don't mind. Okay, let me kind of start off with a statement that I believe will help you all out. Let me actually ask you all something. Okay, are y'all ready for this? Let me ask you all something, and I need you to be real with yourself. It ain't about me. It's like you talking to yourself in the mirror. Okay. Um, are you actually doing everything that you can to become who you are supposed to be? Like, um, are you, or do you feel like you're being comfortable or maybe even complacent? you know I've started to realize, and maybe I'm talking to myself here, but I've remembered and started to realize we can live out our entire life not realizing our entire life is average. And so most people, and that's what I want to talk to you all about today. I want to discuss to you all really about what average fully looks like, and more importantly, what all of that kind of comes across, but also not just what average is, but also what it is not. I feel that's where we have a little bit of a little bit of some distractions, if you will, of what people may not necessarily realize truthfully what average looks like. So there's this ideology of everything being, and I want to talk about that today. So, but first off, as you all know, it's just me, Quentin James here, Diamond Q James, and my co-host decided. Not gonna say she decided, but she's out there in Ghana right now. As we've always said, since we're talking about average, you're the average of the five people you hang around with the most, and she's around certain people who are refueling her so she can come over here and refuel us with some of that mindset, some of that insight. Okay, so y'all just got me today, all right? Which I believe, I'm pretty sure y'all are A-okay with. So more importantly, what I want you all to do is this. Go ahead and let me know who's here. If you're on the live currently, or if you're looking at the replay, all right, I want you to go ahead and just respond. Tell us who it is, introduce yourself. More importantly, I want you to also, if you're looking for the first time, go ahead and subscribe at Handle the Heart on our Instagram, our Facebook, YouTube, X, and we will have this show every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. Okay. Also, I gotta tell you all this. If you ever have any questions, if there's anything that you want to speak on, definitely info at handletheheart.com, and we'll definitely answer those. Or actually, it may be something that we think is so good that we can go ahead and speak on it as well, and let everybody know what's going on. But more importantly, there's some things that are happening. All right. I'm telling you all, we are going to be giving some communication out on Friday. And it's only going to be through those who are on our updates. So 312-667-4243. Handle the Heart. All one word, by the way. Okay. 312-667-4243. Okay. So anyway, let me go ahead and talk to you all about average. And you may say, well, Quentin, what makes you what makes you a I guess an expert when it comes to this? Well, when it comes to handling hard, I think a lot of people don't realize the importance of just understanding when they're in this place of, I call it the wandering generality. I've said that multitude of times before, and I want us to talk about average and what it is and what it isn't. So there's a statement out here that I feel a lot of people currently in life are taking, and they're utilizing this as a way for them to just be okay with just being okay. And I don't think it's okay. There's a statement that says the beauty of being average is the freedom of is a freedom from impossible expectations in the pursuit of exceptional, all because the pursuit of exceptional often robs us of peace, joy, and presence. Okay, so let me say it again. The beauty of being average it's freedom from impossible expectations. All right. So they're basically saying that the pursuit of exception or being exceptional often robs us from peace, joy, and presence. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that statement. At least not all of it. Let me first talk about the first part, because there's some misconceptions that I want us to talk about when it comes to being average. But that statement itself is basically saying, one, the first part of it, which is the freedom from impossible expectations. Well, the impossible, if you have faith, the impossible is where, faith is where the impossible becomes possible. But if that's not where you feel like you're supposed to be uprooted and inserted and creating an impact, then I think there's some truth to that, right? But I would also say that there's nothing wrong with having expectations as long as they're attainable. They may stretch you, but they won't give you in a place of what we call as being overwhelmed or feeling like you just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I'll talk about that momentarily here. But the pursuit of exceptional. There's a difference. I feel like average in this instance, the pursuit of perfection often robs us of peace, joy, and presence. But willing to go towards excellence is a really good place. So to me, that wording already puts you in a place of conforming. So let me talk to you all about a few misconceptions that I've realized just from people that are already successful, but also people that I look up to, and also people who are kind of, honestly just being where they are. Being average uh doesn't mean failure. And a lot of people, I would say that's a misconception, because most people feel, well, if I fail all the time, I'm average. And it's actually the total opposite. When you I know a lot of people who've succeeded finally in what they've done, but it's because they failed, from that perspective. It just, average just must simply mean that you're normal. And again, in certain situations, that's okay. And we'll talk about that. High performing people are above average in everything. And that's a misconception. In all actuality, high performing people are average at the majority, and they're really good at being really good what they're supposed to be really good at. All right. So that's the second miss, because don't assume that everybody who's a high performer is just they're just above average in everything, because that is not true at all. That's a misconception. And then one other one is that I feel is really interesting to say. I was looking up some notes about this, and it was something that said average people are always busy. And I feel that's a misconception as well. And here's why I say that is because there are certain things about who you are as a person where you just won't be good at it by any means, And I think here's what makes life hard. Y'all ready for this? We're talking about handle the hard. My goal here is to help you handle hard better. This is, to me, is what makes life hard. It's when you put time into things that at the very best you're only going to be average in, right? Let me give you an example. Myself, I am not a good singer. I realized that if I had a note in my hand smacking me in my face, I still would not be good. As I could take as many classes as I want to in order to be better than I am now, but I would never be at an above average standard. So I am okay with being average or normal when knowing I can't sing. I fear here's the issue that most people ask themselves this question. Okay. But before I go into that, I want to go ahead and let me see who's on. Yvonne, what's going on, Yvonne? I'm glad you're on here listening in. Go ahead and let everybody else know what's good. And more importantly, share it out with everybody that we are here handling the hard, handle the hard. We're here to kind of support people and what they're looking to do. But I'm glad that you're on. Seriously, Yvonne, it means a lot from that lens. So let me go ahead and express to you all this question. So I was talking to, or not even talking to PJ, I was talking to somebody about PJ, and they were asking me, Let me ask you a question. What do you think PJ wants to do? And I was like, what do you mean? And they was like, well, have you ever talked to him about what he wants to do? And I was just like, well, I mean, I know there's things that he likes to do. I don't think I've ever asked him specifically what he wants to do. I think the question I've always at least tried my very best to ask PJ is how does he want to live? And he was like, that's interesting. And I was like, yeah, I want, how do you want to live? And here's why I say that is because transparently, when you focus on what do you want to do, and you're not good at it, or you feel like you want to be good at X and you may not have the talents to be good at X, and that X is whatever that may be. Again, me could be me singing. Again, if I'm not that good at it and my very best is I'm going to be average, well, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to feel complacent. I'm going to feel like I'm not worth much because I did my very best and I thought I was going to be better because that's what I wanted to do. And I can't do it at the pinnacle because that's not a talent of mine, but I thought I could be the best at it. But I'm only average at it at best because that's not what I'm good at. Besides asking the question, how do you want to live? And here's why I say that is because of some of the things that makes people who are average. And I'm not saying this is you, but I want you to think about this. There are certain things that people do on a consistent basis that are average. And I have it right here, right? Average people claim that they aren't money minded when everything they do is about money. Average people need frequent entertainment, which is something that I think we agree. And not nothing wrong with being refueled by something you're excited about and things, but when you spend all of your money on something that's entertaining and it's not investing, I think that should probably let you know where you're at on this totem pole. Which again, we don't want you to be, because again, certain things you're going to be average at. That's okay. But if you ask yourself, not what do you want to do, but how do you want to live? That should put you in a place of thinking of not about this next thing, which is average people want guarantees. So here's what I mean. If you say, okay, I want to do this, but I'm only going to do it if I can guarantee that I'll be good at it. Besides asking yourself, how do you want to live? Because when you ask yourself, how do you want to live? It opens up your brain to so many possibilities where you're not looking for guarantees. You're searching for opportunities. And when you search for opportunities, you can care less the direction of what you're supposed to be as long as it helps you be impactful in the way that you want to live. Okay, hopefully this is making sense to you all, is because again, like I told you all, being average, that's a place based off of where your calling is. That's where again the statement of the beauty of being average, it's freedom from impossible expectations. Don't fall into that trap. Okay. Again, the pursuit of excellence is the pursuit of being exceptional is a phenomenal thing. The pursuit of being perfect often robs us of having peace, joy, and happiness. Not being exceptional. Not being exceptional. Being exceptional in what you're supposed to do, being exceptional how you want to live, this was by default is going to make you above average because that's what your calling is. Okay. So just understand that difference in that. But another thing, right? Average people talk big plans and they walk in place. All right. I'm pretty sure you all probably, again, I've said this statement before. I said this notion before. I heard this from my grandfather. He said, you want to see a lot of average people. You want to see a lot of dreams. You want to see a lot of things that supposedly should have happened for people and didn't. Look into a graveyard. All right. Because there's a lot of dreams and aspirations and things that are supposed to happen that unfortunately, because they focused on trying to be great at everything, or they thought that they had to be a high performer in everything, they didn't get the opportunity to focus on how they wanted to live. So they just decided to be normal in everything that they did. Whether that dream could have impacted somebody, we'll never know. Okay. Average people blame others and they don't take responsibility. All right. And that's extremely difficult to kind of put yourself in that place. So these are certain things that we've seen that people honestly have seen on a consistent basis that people bring to the table, where they're like, they maybe complain about certain stuff that is not as a certain way, or they're not where they thought they should be, so they want to blame it on someone else. Or again, like I asked you all before, look into a mirror. Are you focusing on what you want to be? or are you focusing on how do you want to live? Because that will help you decipher how you need to look at average. So before I continue about what I believe there are three things that you can do to ensure that you're on the right pace and direction of, again, being okay with being places where where you will be average, but really embarking on the places that where you're supposed to be impactful, where you're supposed to be giving people some inspiration, and where you know you're going to be efficient and effective. So your whole life, you're not thinking about your whole life as far as where it went, because you are only where you are currently. Okay, so but before we go into that, Tari, I see you, Tari. Appreciate you getting on, girl. Thank you so much for supporting. And again, let everybody know, share it out. And again, like I told everybody before, I'm gonna tell you again. All right, I need you all to go ahead and text all one word, handle the heart, 312-667-4243. Okay, I need you to text that number because on Friday, I'm not telling you to say it with me, but Friday, we are going to be announcing some things that I want you all to be understanding, already know what's going on, and be the first. Okay, be the first to know. And be some treats and some. I don't even want to. I don't even want to give it away. All right, I'm just so excited about it. I kind of want to give it now, but I need you all to go ahead and all one word, handle the heart at 312-667-4243. All right, so. But if you was to ask me, okay, Quentin, what should I do in order to ensure that I'm on the right track so I can focus on being really good in what I'm supposed to be really good at? I'm glad you asked that. Okay. So here's the first thing I'll say. I hope y'all ready for this. I think this is really good. Um, let's focus on strengthening your strengths and look to delegate your weaknesses. Okay. Let's focus more on strengthening your strengths and delegating your weaknesses. Here's what I mean. A lot of times we're always taught, all right, go ahead and strengthen your weaknesses. And here's what I would say. Again, I listen to a lot of John Maxwell, and he is so spot on. You talk about wisdom in a book or wisdom in a podcast. He has said one time, listen, I've became the guru in leadership, because everybody else calls him a guru. He says, I became a guru in leadership is because I focus on strengthening what I'm good at, and I delegate what I know I'm weak at. And here's why I say that. I said it earlier. Whatever you're weak at, if you're like, man, I need to get really good at my weaknesses, you are taking time and energy to be at your very best average. That is not why you're here. You're not here to make sure your weaknesses become like everybody else. You're here to make sure you strengthen the things that you're strong at. Okay. That's what makes successful people different, is because they don't focus on their weaknesses, they just delegate it. All right. Now, if you realize there are places that you're good at and you realize, man, this is the route I need to start taking to live out what I'm supposed to be here for, and you're probably not the best at it, or you probably realize you can enhance or improve, then yes, you strengthening your strengths, you're strengthening your skill set. But that doesn't mean you focus on your weaknesses. Again, that's just like you saying that you want to get better at singing when you can't sing. I'm just talking to Quentin James. Okay. So I'm just expressing that to you. That's the first thing. Let's help you strengthen your strengths and delegate your weaknesses. That will help you go a long way. Another thing I want to say, okay, here's something I've realized. We talked about it earlier. Average people talk big plans and they walk in place. Here's something that I want you all to do: dream big, start small, scale fast. Okay, dream big, start small, scale fast. How do I know this works? Well, I'm glad you asked. That's how I was able to create one of the best dance groups in Chicago at the time of my tenure when I started my dance group. Okay, we wasn't here trying to create bodacious goals and we wasn't here. We can create as most, but we wasn't here to start them big. I did that also wrong, by the way. At one point, I was actually, throwing parties. I was a party promoter. I remember this vividly. And I came back home. A lot of people in Florida knew who I was, but not too many people knew who I was in Chicago at the time. But I wanted them to know who I was. So guess what I did? I'm like, well, let me go ahead and throw a party and an amazing experience. And I'm really good at creating experiences. This is why I'm saying to you all, I want you all to go ahead and text Handle the Hard, all one word, at 312-667-4243 because there's some communication coming out on Friday that I want you all to be engaged and understand what's happening. But nevertheless, I threw a party. Just got back home from Florida. I wanted to make this big, 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 huge party, and I rented out a spot that can probably hold 1,000 people. And when I mean, I think at most 100 people came, they made that spot look like it was only 20. See, it's something about having dreaming big, and it's something about starting big too that makes people realize, you know what? I don't want to try it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I feel I should just stay average. No, no, no. Dream big, start small. So you can get small wins to help you create big gains. But the difference between people who have the gumption of going and just, be complacent or they're okay with being okay is they scale fast. They start and they scale. They just mean they do it quickly. They just start and they go quickly. They dream big, they start small, and they scale fast. They just do it quickly. They don't procrastinate. They don't start having excuse-itis. They don't start having detail-itis about it. Those are the three failure diseases that's going to keep you average. Okay, those three failure diseases again is in Think and Grow Rich. Okay, it's actually in dream is that the magic of thinking big, actually, not Think and Grow Rich. The magic of thinking big is an amazing book, and it talks about the three failure diseases. Okay, which is uh, you know, uh, excuse me, what is it? Excuse-itis, detail-itis, and procrastination. Those three failure diseases is going to keep you average at best. Okay. So, because here's the thing, average is the best of the worst and the worst of the best. That's exactly what average is. All right. So, in order for you to get out of that, we want you to dream big. Okay. You hear me? Dream big, start small, but scale fast. Do it quickly. All right. So, anyway, we got some new people on. Oh, my girl. Hey, I'm telling you all right now, what's going on, Ebony? It's good to see you on here, making some moves, making some things happen. Hey, listen, this woman right here is probably one of the best in line dancing that I've ever met. To the point, y'all know I know how to dance. I'm telling her I need her to teach me how to dance, do these specific line dances that I'm excited. So I want you all to stay tuned for that 100%. Okay. So I'm just letting you know, but she's really good at what she does. I'm glad you was able to get on, girl. But yeah, those three failure diseases keeps people average. Okay. So again, the first thing we talked about, all right, when it comes to doing all the things you want to do, again, dream big, start small, scale fast. But remember, I want you all to focus strengthening your strengths and delegate your weaknesses. That is so huge. Strengthening your strengths and delegating your weaknesses. That's the first thing. Remember, okay, average people talk big plans and walk in place. So, how do we make sure that that doesn't happen for you when you find out how do you want to live? Real simple. Dream big, start small, and scale fast so you can get away from those three failure diseases. Okay, that is so huge. And then here's the last one. And I said it earlier, I just want to remind you. Let's focus on your possibilities, not the guarantees. See, here's the thing. Guarantees always, always, always comes with a cost. And that cost could easily be why you're destined to be here. Those guarantees can make you realize later on in life that you were destined for more, but you chose to be part of the committee of they. You taking a guarantee besides not going ahead and showing the possibilities or going towards the opportunities and the possibilities you can shows that you have no faith in yourself, but you had faith in somebody else's guarantee in you. I'm telling you all like a friend. These are the reasons why I've realized a lot of people that I know had so much talent, they end up becoming less than themselves. So I would encourage you all those three things. Okay. See, here's something that I've realized. I never want to be part of the what if community. Have y'all ever had a friend, or even like somebody that's on their deathbed? Okay, this is, if y'all see I'm getting passionate about what I'm about to say, then I'm gonna conclude because I want y'all to come back next week for some other things I'm gonna talk about. Okay, but have you ever had it where a person that you look up to, all right, I'm gonna set the stage for you, and you're talking to them and you're just asking them questions. They have so much wisdom, maybe somebody a little bit older, and you may ask them a question, Ebony. And when you ask them a question, right, they go ahead and they look out to the side like I'm looking out right now. And let's say you ask them a question about, remember a time when you did such and such, and they start going down the story and start having a little bit of nostalgia and they're smiling. But at this one moment in that smile, Ebony, here's what happens. You see, they look into the distance like this and they say, man, what if? See, that what if has a lot more weight in that statement because they realized they should have did something they didn't. And here's where average people die, right? In the regret. See, regret is heavier than failure. A bruised ego heals. What if doesn't? All right. Regret is heavier than failure because a bruised ego can heal, but a what if doesn't. And I assure you all, a lot of people focus on a what if. It's because they focused on what do they want to be and not necessarily how do they want to live. And that's what I would say to you all as I wrap up here. Like I told you, I love micro learning. There's a lot of things out here that you're going to be average in, and that's okay. But what I don't want you to be average in is in what you're called to be. What I don't want you to be average in is how do you want to live? Okay? Because to me, that right there, that's the ripple effect that the world needs. They need to see you at your best. And you don't focus in perfection in that, you focus on being exceptional. All right. So, anyway, hopefully this was helpful for you all. Here's what I want. I'm telling you all right now, I want some feedback. All right. My girl ain't here. She in Ghana, so I can say what I want to say. All right. My co host ain't here, so I can say what I want to say. I can do it how I want to do it, because she out there, again, she out there actually doing what she's called to do. She's out there living her best life. Why? Because she already realized for her, which I'm so proud of her as a sister, like she's realized that her calling, she knows how she wants to live. She wants to equip women in their businesses, in their what they're called to do, but also help them if they have any trauma. And that's huge, right? So she because she's living in her calling, she's able to do things that most people would never ever do. How many people you know? This is why I'm telling you all to stay in tune with us. See, I can, and then she's so humble, like Jocelyn's so humble, and it could because she'll go ahead and be like, Quentin, whatever, whatever. But I'm telling you all, this is why you need to go ahead and follow us on Handle the Heart. This is why you need to follow us on Instagram and YouTube and X and all those and Facebook, etc. This is why you need to go ahead and right here, Handle the Heart. 312-667-4243, all one word, Handle the Heart. Here's the reason why. It's because how many people you know is taking 2 weeks in Ghana and they can come back like nothing has happened, even though a lot has happened. But 2 weeks in Ghana, most people who do that, two things happen. They come back to a lot of work, they're overwhelmed, and they have no more vacation. All right. She's living her life in Ghana. I don't know about you, but I love to listen and hear from somebody who's able to do something like that. Not saying you want to go to Ghana. You may want to go to Bora Bora for 2 weeks. Which there you go, Ebony. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, you know what? Do that. Why don't you do that? I love that. And then let me know, I want to let me know how we can support you, because you doing your thing. I appreciate your support on this one. Okay, seriously. I'm telling you all like a friend, and I'm done at this, right? She is a really good example of why you all need to tune in every single Monday. Not just for me, because I'm just Quentin James, right? But for somebody who, especially the women that look at this every single week, she knows how to empower you so you can empower other people. That's why she's my co-host. This is the reason why I select her, because she can do things for you all that I can't. Okay. But more importantly, she's living out what I'm talking about. All right. She's okay with being normal and average in the things that she knows is her weaknesses. She knows how to delegate in those places, but she is so good in her strengths. And like I said, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. She's one of the best that you should hang around with. So anyway, appreciate you all. Glad that y'all was on. Again, next week, guess who y'all got? You got your boy right here, Diamond Q James. All right. So let everybody know how good this was. Any feedback that y'all got for me, please let me know 100%. I want you all to go ahead. Let us know how you liked everything. But more importantly, next week is going to be good. If you felt this was good, next week, man, I just want y'all to get ready. But Friday, for everybody that's already that text, be excited. So anyway, appreciate you all being here with us. Handle the hard. Like I always end. See you all next Monday, 7 p.m. Central. Stay blessed and never stress. Peace.